The crimson path, the trail beckoned with deceptive warmth, its entrance framed by maples that burned like torches against the October sky. Sarah adjusted her backpack and stepped onto the packed earth, her boots finding purchase among the scattered leaves that whispered secrets with each footfall. The Forest Service map promised a moderate 3-mile loop through what locals called the Crimson Valley, pocket of wilderness renowned for its spectacular autumn display. For the first mile, the trail lived up to its reputation. Golden birches stood sentinel beside the path, their papery bark catching the filtered sunlight that danced through the canopy above. Sarah's camera clicked steadily as she documented the season's final performance. The burgundy oak leaves that clung desperately to their branches, the scarlet sumac that blazed like blood against weathered stone, the amber carpet that muffled her steps with each stride. But as the trail curved deeper into the valley's embrace, the light began to change. The cheerful autumn glow dimmed to something more amber, more viscous, as if the air itself had thickened with the weight of dying leaves. The path, once clearly marked with blue blazes, became increasingly difficult to follow. Fallen branches obscured the way forward, and more than once Sarah found herself backtracking when the trail seemed to simply vanish beneath a blanket of decomposing foliage. The silence pressed against her eardrums with an intensity that made her pause. No bird songs punctuated the stillness. No squirrels chattered in the branches overhead. Even the wind had stilled, leaving only the soft percussion of her own breathing and the occasional crack of a twig beneath her feet. The forest had become a cathedral of decay, beautiful and terrible in its absolute quiet. It was then that she noticed the trees were wrong. The maples that had welcomed her at the trailhead bore leaves of natural crimson and gold. But here, deeper in the valley, the foliage had taken on an unsettling uniformity. Every leaf oak, maple, birch, and beech alike glowed with the same deep red, as if they had been dipped in fresh blood. The color was too vivid, too wet-looking, and when Sarah reached out to touch a low-hanging branch, her fingers came away stained with a substance that was neither sap nor moisture from the morning dew. The trail descended now, winding through stands of trees that grew closer together with each step. Their branches intertwined overhead, weaving a canopy so dense that the afternoon light struggled to penetrate. Sarah fumbled for her phone's flashlight, but the pale LED beam seemed to die just feet from her position, swallowed by the crimson darkness that pressed in from all sides. She quickened her pace, driven by an instinct she couldn't name. Behind her, the leaves rustled with a sound like whispered laughter, though no wind stirred the air. The trail forked ahead, and Sarah chose the path that seemed to lead upward, back toward the light she could no longer see but desperately hoped still existed above the canopy. The trees began to change as she climbed. Their bark had taken on a mottled appearance, dark patches spreading across the surface like bruises on pale skin. Some of the trunks bore deep gouges, as if massive claws had raked the wood, leaving wounds that wept a dark substance that pooled at the base of each tree. The smell hit her then sweet and cloying, like overripe fruit left too long in the sun. Sarah's breath came in short gasps as the trail steepened. The red leaves above her head rustled with increasing frequency, though she felt no wind. Something was moving through the canopy, keeping pace with her progress, and when she dared to look up, she caught glimpses of shadows that were too large, too fluid, to belong to any creature she knew. The path crested a small ridge, and Sarah stumbled into a clearing that made her stomach lurch with recognition and revulsion. Here was the source of the crimson that had infected the entire forest. The trees formed a perfect circle around a depression in the earth, and at its center lay the remains of what might once have been other hikers. Their backpacks and clothing had been arranged with deliberate care, but their bodies had long since become part of the forest floor, feeding the roots that spread beneath the blood-red leaves. As Sarah backed away from the clearing, the rustling in the canopy above grew to a crescendo. The shadows descended, flowing like liquid darkness between the trees, and she understood with crystalline clarity that the autumn display she had come to photograph was not a celebration of the season's beauty, but a lurid crimson invitation extended by something that had learned to mimic nature's most seductive face. The last thing she saw before the shadows claimed her was her own camera, lying among the other offerings in the clearing's center, its lens reflecting the impossible red of leaves that would never fall.